The Prince of Wales feeds an orangutan during a visit to the Semenggoh Wildlife Rehab Center. Credit Chris Jackson Getty. The Prince of Wales has come face to face with the true king of the jungle, as he reached to touch hands with a 5-foot orangutan. The prince had traveled deep into the Borneo rainforest to see endangered orangutans in the wild. The prince looked on in awe as 6 of the great apes visited a feeding spot at the Semenggoh Wildlife Rehab Center, offering them a banana. Wearing a cream suit and tie, he walked over to where 2 of the orangutans that had descended from a tree and held the fruit out. The orangutan then reached out to the prince, appearing to touch hands for a split second. Prince Charles holds out fruit to one of the orangutans that had descended from a tree. Credit YUIMOCPA. He then offered a banana to a second animal, who took it quickly. The first orangutan, who was casually doing the splits between 2 trees, went back for second helpings from the delighted heir to the throne. The second orangutan takes fruit from the prince. Credit YUIMOCPA. Semenggoh is the biggest orangutan rehabilitation center in the state of Sarawak and is close to the region's capital Kuching. Orangutans are only found in the rainforests of Borneo and Sumatra and are threatened by the destruction of their habitats due to logging, mining and forest fires. One of the orangutans takes an offering from Prince Charles. Credit YUIMOCPA. Earlier, the prince was taught the art of hunting with a blowpipe and was hailed a natural. Charles got to grips with the ancient weapon when, with the Duchess of Cornwall, he visited a living village in Malaysia, showcasing the lifestyles and customs of Borneo tribes. Normally loaded with a poison dart, the weapon is used by the Penan people and others to hunt everything from wild boar and lizards to monkeys. Prince Charles tries his hand at dart blowing during a visit to the Sarawak cultural village in Borneo. Credit Chris Jackson Getty. But for Charles, the deadly substance was not used and he happily got to grips with the 5-foot-long blowpipe, following a demonstration at Sarawak cultural village near Kuching on the island of Borneo. When it was propped up on a stand, Charles laughed and said, "You're allowed to put that up, but that's cheating." Camilla gave her husband a few words of encouragement, telling him don't suck, and he replied, "I'll just close one eye," as he looked down the barrel of the pipe. After missing his second shot, the prince laughed at his attempt. Credit Chris Jackson Getty. A few cries of encouragement and applause went up from Charles' entourage when the first dart hit just below a 5-inch 13 centimeters wide target painted with a bullseye some 8 meters away. Charles turned to QBUAT 33, a blowpipe expert, and asked for one more. "I was just getting the range," before puffing out his cheeks again for another go, but his effort fell well short of the target. "Not right, that one," he said, and before leaving joked with Mr. UAT, who was wearing a large loincloth. "You lie in bed at night and practice," Mr. UAT said later. "For a beginner it was a good effort. The target is very small and if you can get that close you can hit a wild boar."